here.
Alright, welcome to our seventh video, because we can't just get this thing right anytime soon. This is Michael Pepple.
Matt Sullivan here.
And we represent England, if you want a different perspective for an American show. But this is for the MVS Global Realities class, and we are basing most of what we read on Thomas L. Friedman's.
You have the hardback. Looks like this.
Yeah, Thomas L. Friedman's Hot, Flat and Crowded. I know you can't read it, I've said this before, just bear with me, I'm looking at the title and how the book looks. Anyway, what's really been bothering me and stuff is just the idea that the American government's too involved in the petropolitics.
Yeah, way too much government regulation in that sector there.
It's just the idea that the government can pay, in the last 2 weeks, gave $60 billion worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia so they continue to do cheap oil. What kind of stuff is that?
What's well that, mate?
Exactly.
60 billion.
60 billion.
It's 30 billion pounds.
Yeah, it's like F-15s and stuff too. The Saudis are the people that are funding the Taliban, the people that are funding Al Qaeda. And like it said in this recent chapter, it's what really affected me is that 10% of the Muslim world actually exists in Saudi Arabia, and it was talking about that this desert form of Islam, which is going to try to take it back to the 700 AD, whenever Muhammad just died and whatever.
Uber conservative, mate.
Uber conservative, right? And these are the richest people in all of the Muslim world. So who's going to have the influence? It's going to be the people with the money. I mean, it's just nice how he said in the beginning of the chapter that it's talking about the petropolitics, and it's called fill them up with dictators. Especially all of the money that the Saudis earn from the United States and other Europe and China. It all goes to funding different madrasas and stuff in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And all of these places are encouraging, Taliban and Al Qaeda, and it's just ridiculous to think that we are paying for this type of thing.
Yeah, they're using all the money to just control all of the Muslim world. They use the money to fund all the movies in Egypt, all the hotels in Egypt. They got the Hyatt in Cairo, and they got rid of all the alcohol. What's a hotel in Egypt without alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really party unless you have some alcohol. Us Brits, we have a real problem with the underage drinking, but taking it to the extreme of just nobody drinking is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, really. And the kind of regulation they're putting in the Egyptian film industry, mate, they can even put a empty bed in there. Might suggest something's going down.
No, that's just tragic.
Yeah.
Whenever I see an empty bed, I think about taking a nap. And that's the honest truth. If I don't have an empty bed, I don't know how I'd operate on a day-to-day basis. But,
sleep on the floor there, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
No, standards. Where America's going.
Yeah, where America's going, it's not good. It's good we're living in the UK, hey. God save the Queen.
The bloodiest thing about this, though, you know how they're getting all that money? From us.
Yep.
We're keeping the demand high, the supply low, and then we're paying the people that hate us the most.
Yep. Well, I don't know how many hijackers it was, but it got a statistic in a book. So the majority of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. And all the people that you go to the he said when Friedman was visiting Pakistan, he was visiting it, and he said he went to the madrasa and it said donated by Saudi Arabia, and these are really radical places. These are the people that are providing they were the suicide bombers and
Really hostile.
Really hostile, exactly. And it's just another thing that hit me hard is just the fact that how cheap oil is because of our relationship with these countries like UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq in the past. It's like we would give all these different weapons and stuff, and that's how we get such cheap oil. It said when oil was approaching $100 per barrel in 2007, 2008, back when we were complaining about the gas prices and stuff like that. It said that the milk, if you wanted a barrel of milk, it'd be $150 a barrel, and a barrel of pure water, plain water, would be $180 a barrel. What is that?
Yeah, mate, blows your mind. And the thing with this oil though, as the prices go higher, I know they're cheaper than a barrel of water, but as the prices go higher, the kind of freedom that they have over there is getting lower and lower.
Exactly.
And what are we doing over in Iraq and Afghanistan? We're trying to give them freedom. But all they're doing is making the oil prices go higher, making the freedom less and less. What are we doing?
Exactly. It's just at a point where, you know, the only way that we really are going to find a way to innovate green technologies and stuff like that is if we get the government out of the involvement with the cheap oil. It's just an addiction to cheap oil. And the fact that, you know, they have an imposed tariff, I was reading, and this is a different chapter than the one that filled them up with dictators. But this one is talking about, you know, they have a 50-cent tariff that they have on per gallon for ethanol in this country, and that's due to, you know, the corn industry and stuff lobbying in Washington to have it. Whereas, you know, for Saudi oil, it's, you know, it's a very small tariff in comparison to, you know, how many people use ethanol versus oil. And, you know, if the government is going to be imposing certain things to help the oil industry out, to help overseas oil especially, there's going to be no possibility for us to create something. That's why I think government involvement in the oil industry, and maybe other industries as well, is causing the problems with green innovation and creativity in the United States.
I mean, in freedom instead of itself, if you ever really want to get back on top of the world, we got to have innovation. You know, we're basically stopping ourselves from having innovation. As Ken Robinson said, the school system's killing it all from a young age. These schools kill creativity. Leave you to check that one out.
Yep, that's the next episode though, because us Brits got to go to sleep because, you know, over in Britain it's like 4:45 a.m. We just had a really late night. So we'll talk to you later.
About to go to the clubs.
About to hit the clubs. Peace.